Good afternoon. How is everyone? Well, I have the pleasure of talking with you about what's coming next in what I refer to as the new future. Is there a new future emerging, which is kind of a mashup of economics, business strategy, certainly technology and innovation, exploding demographics, economies on fire, sunrise, sunset, organizations, industries? Let's take a look. I run a think tank that advises the global Fortune 1000. What we do is one thing and one thing only. We think about what's next. This what next, quite frankly, is what we've been obsessed with for the past 20 years. Well, let me frame it out for you like this. The world of the future is going to require, and by the way, the world of the future is 10 minutes from right now. It's not a far future. It's a future that's emerging that I have one central question to ask you. Are you future ready? Are you learning, collaborating, interacting, and discovering what's new about this new future? Are you future ready? Are your clients future ready? And what is it going to take to get future ready? Because it may be different for you than somebody else. It may be different for your client. It may require new kinds of competencies, 3 important takeaway competencies: a new kind of agility, ability of moving very quickly, smart movement, kind of collaboration, a deep collaboration as we've never seen before, and a kind of velocity. Now, velocity is very interesting because you need a network of exchanges and engagement, and you've been hearing about that word, so I want to come back to it. A network of engagement, fierce, courageous engagement to be able to achieve success. Those are the 3 things we're going to be talking about. And the first takeaway really is to consider the challenge and answer the question, because there's not one way. Are you future ready? What is it going to take to get future ready? Well, welcome to the new future. The key feature about the new future is understanding, managing, and leveraging complexity. This complexity is going to require us to no longer just consider the silos of economics over here, demographics there, health here, energy there, finance here. It has to do with expanding our mindsets and exploring a larger context of being able to hold not just disruptive changes, but amazing opportunities to move forward, to invent new value, to monetize new innovations at a level of speed that we've never seen before. I am the new future employee. Very different kind of look. Look around the room. Is there anybody that looks like that yet? And by the way, it is not just the employee in this new future that's going to be interacting with massive new innovations that we'll take a look at, but also there may be disruptions and risks. I am the new future disruption. Disruptions from yesterday may be about business models, new systems, partners that now have become competitors. There's new disruptions emerging, new changes emerging. Just in the area of looking at global risk management, of certainly an area that you all are very interested in, all of a sudden we started to look at climate change for the first time, very recently, factoring that into analysis. Looking at patents and intellectual properties as disruptive innovators, accelerators of opportunity. But how are we going to resolve, how are we going to feed 9 billion people in 2050? Is that an impact on supply chains? And who owns that ecosystem of supply chains? Just about 80% of your clients and mine. New asymmetric risks are facing us, and we need new strategies to deal with these disruptive changes. I am the new future. radical new innovations I refer to as knowledge engineering. Being able to find, create. Today it's apps. Tomorrow it may be knowledge kernels that are developed and designed by customers for you to help integrate into their universe. I am the new future. The organization. Will the organization of this near future, which is 2 minutes, 3 months, 10 months, 2 years from today, look the way it looks today? No. It is evolving and changing, and we've got to change with it. We've got to understand it, because if you are going to be the leaders of the future, you are the architects of change. And that means experimentation. That means the courage to explore and define future readiness. It means the ability to be able to define even what this new future is. I can tell you it will require new rules, new players, a new conversation about what's coming next. Perhaps the one that's maybe the most important is, I am the new future, I am the new customer. Customers are changing, their world is changing. Who is driving change? Who got the internet first? Was it the Microsofts, the Apples, the IBMs, the GEs? No. Certainly wasn't the big technology companies per se. It was consumers, even before the enterprise. Consumers embraced the internet and forced most companies to be able to change their strategies to pay attention to this massive emergence of an entirely new platform. Who is driving the future today when it comes to mobile? The consumer. Who is driving business today? Consumer innovations. Do you have as much agility with consumer technology as we do with enterprise technology? No, we don't. No, we don't. Do we have the kind of interoperability and innovations that are quickly being embraced by the consumer worldwide that are driving lifestyles, transforming lifestyles? Do we have them baked into, integrated into business? No. That may be one of the most interesting, disruptive factors that's driving the new customer. And the new customer is every place. No longer down the block, but it's Mumbai, Santiago, Leningrad, around the world. I am the new future. Globalization. The ability to be able to bring on board the next 200 countries, the next 2 billion people, the next marketplace. And a new way to look at this globalization is cities, the future of cities. If you look at cities and forget about geographies, you forget about sovereign nations, all of a sudden you realize we're in the midst of a transformation, an entirely new narrative about the future, the new future. But can we manage the complexity of this hyper-connected world? Can we manage the complexity of these challenges of fast, disruptive change? Well, I'll show you some of the changes I think are coming. I am the new future, hyper-competition. Guess what? You are in a running race for the future. The only question is, where are you in the positioning of this race? Are you playing catch-up with other competitors in terms of innovation? Are you where the customers are today? Or are you in the lead, driving customers into the future, helping navigate them into the future? Are you future ready? Are you embracing the complexity? Are you managing well agility, velocity, and competition and collaboration? Are you? Well, let's find out. This is the early stage of the innovation economy. The early stages. We just, in terms of a timeline here, we just invented the computer, if you will, moments ago. The internet, seconds ago. Nanotechnology and mapping the human genome, moments ago. In the past, not even 35 years. I got my first taste of technology really at Apple Computer, bringing out Macintosh, 1983. 1984, the world was more computing, quite frankly, in a card, Hallmark card today, versus all the world prior to 1960. This is the early stage of the innovation economy. It hasn't happened yet. But there is a business and economic principle around innovation Darwinism. Innovator dies. So we're going to focus on innovation, where that's going, how this is a key driver of competitive advantage. And my point is to say that illustrated, accelerated innovation is the new norm. How you invent that and push that out in terms of radical innovation that supports, empowers those three things, really: agility, collaboration, and velocity. How well you translate that is going to make a major impact on the planet. So let's take a look at a couple of the key forces in terms of technology and innovation that are going to shape that. First is the hacking of life systems, digital biology. That may be the fastest growing one that's going to affect all of our life. Just a show of hands. How many folks would like to live an extra 25 years with the vitality of an 18-year-old? I didn't say the brains of an 18-year-old. Yeah, we want to bring our wisdom along. Like in our organizations, we want to bring our wisdom along, right? You're going to be living longer than any civilization on the planet in the history of the world. Your children and grandchildren will live to see the 22nd century plus. Is that part of the new future? Absolutely. It is likely we're headed towards an entirely new future also of hacking matter. Hacking life systems and biology is one thing. That's us, life forms. The next certainly is hacking matter. Nanotechnology, the manipulation of matter at the atomic level. We could create things that, quite frankly, don't exist in nature. And if you're concerned about, therefore, taking care of pollution, dealing with climate change, offsetting environmental challenges, hacking the planet's going to be for you. You're going to hear a lot more about geoengineering. How are we going to meet the challenges of the 21st century? And then finally, let me say, perhaps leaving the planet. Extreme innovation is coming. And I'm going to map out for you the top technologies that will shape that. Here they are. Takeaway for you is to recognize, quite frankly, that we're living in a time of not just dynamic innovations, but innovations that have created a series of power tools. And these power tools are giving us the ability to create things on the fly, systems, products, services, inventions that are going to lead to the next global economy. So here they are. Nanotechnology, the manipulation of matter at the atomic level. Biotechnology, life sciences, IT and networks, we'll talk more about that. Neuroscience, what's next for the brain, mapping the brain. And of course, quantum technology. So, bits, atoms, neurons, genes, and qubits are the building blocks of an entirely new explosive economy. Hundreds of new companies. Thousands of new kinds of jobs that haven't been invented yet. The ability to be able to walk into a doctor's office online, interact with a genomic avatar that will download for you information about how your personalized medicine should look. But the exponential convergence of all of these key technologies will shape the next 2 minutes or 200 years. And in my book, The Extreme Future, and the earlier one, Techno-Futures, I've mapped this out. They're only good for 100 years, those books. Don't bother to email me after that. See, I have kind of an unfair advantage. Why? Because I get to hang out with a lot of folks that are inventing the future of innovation in their labs. Or what I refer to as edge cultures. Folks that are inventing, they may be years away, well, they used to be years away, but most of the times now they're weeks away or months away from having a breakthrough. But this new future I'm talking about is driven by innovation. In the past, well, let's talk about the past 24 hours. Bitcoin, the first digital currency, was hacked. About not even 7 hours ago, a couple of $1 million, close to $5 million, disappeared. It was hacked. You might ask the question, well, who hacked them? First digital currency, Bitcoin. Check it out. Very interesting. What does it mean? What are the implications? In this past year and a half, we invented the first artificial cell. The DARPA challenge, we had the first artificial intelligent car that drove itself for 100 miles. We're living at a time of dynamic, explosive, new innovations. The more you know about them, the more you can answer the question in terms of what does it mean to be future ready for you at your firm? What does it mean to be future ready for where you're going? In terms of life extension and personalized medicine, who would not want to live another 20 to 30 years? We will learn how to provide a diagnostic look in what's next. Nanotechnology will lead us into creating entirely new platforms. Here's an example of sputtering diagnostics through nanotechnology onto our body and being able to provide information that could be vital to our health and our well-being. What's next is, for instance, information that's been around that we haven't been able to figure out what it means, such as geointelligence, the ability to map. This is an example of where all the largest cardiovascular events occur. Okay, the most strokes and heart attack occur here in the dark side. What does that tell you? If you wanted to just take geoinformation, map it, put it across your organization, your clients, you could identify what the top geo risk factors are in terms of health and well-being. Interesting? Now, we could spend all day just with that geo map. But the ability to establish patterns of information, to mash up geography, behavior, customers, markets, is going to give us an entirely new way of looking at the future. Certainly, mobile intelligence, mobile artificial intelligence that gives us an ability to be able to do more is coming very quickly. There are over 500,000 robots. I was in a brand new auto plant outside of Pune, outside of actually Mumbai, the Tata plant, and it had about 30 humans and about 300 robots that were building the new nano car, which is a breakthrough innovation. Couldn't be done without robots. But in a project for Disney, where I was their futures and looking at what's next, they had a bold view of the future, a future that was using telerobotics. Bruce Willis was in it, and we looked at it, what was the next? And I love the poster because it captures that there's a dark side to all this innovation too, which is human perfection. What could go wrong? Is it possible to be too hyperlinked? Is it possible?
Yeah. Okay.
So, what do you think of the amendments?
That's great, Sid. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Well, have a good flight.
Bye then.
Agents, please. Secretary.
How can I help, Marjorie?
Can you arrange for myself, Ronald, and Bernard to see Swan Lake?
I'll just check with their agendas. I've booked tickets for Wednesday at the Apollo. Ronald will pick you up at 7.
The irony of that scenario is 90% of that technology exists today. The ability to be able to bring together databases, the ability to be able to put a front end, intelligent front end, the ability to be able to bring together these massive innovations. We are on the edge of what I refer to as the future data tsunami. You're going to hear a lot more about the big cloud computing, big data, the immersiveness. When we start to link together, Canton's general system principle of the universe is the more things can get connected, will get connected. And that's what's going to happen. Energy, entertainment, healthcare, transportation, logistics, everything will have an IP address. When everything has an IP address, what are the implications for the future? What does that mean in our ability to be able to not just stay hyper-connected, but what is the real meaning of that hyper-connectivity? How can we enable and embrace? So the 3 key features of what's next for the internet are always connected. Yes, we understand that. Always on, never turned off. But perhaps the one I'm most interested in, and I would challenge you to think with me, is always aware. Is there a possibility we're talking about a new kind of ecosystem of relationships that is always aware? And that always awareness is going to be permeating our ability to collaborate and provide information, but I refer to it as the blended reality. The blended reality means that I'm in a physical reality, I'm also in multiple information realities, and these realities give me the ability to be able to access a mixed media. But again, what's the purpose of that? Is it entertainment? Or are we part of also some massive evolution of technology where a co-evolution of humans and technology is leading to a new world, a new future? This aware AI, big companies certainly are thinking what's next. The digitally engineering of life forms that will be living in these worlds, or the web as an AI. Some people think that that is the next challenge Google and other companies are working on, is to create or turn the web into a thinking machine, not just one to search, but where it can understand us. So again, the question is, are you future ready? You're going to have to define that. How will you manage complexity? How will you embrace innovation, support innovations? The future-ready organizations have the following constituent parts. They manage and understand and are grappling constantly with larger, complex frameworks, complexity management. Inevitably, they get there because they see things as systems, and they look to integrate these systems, a holistic systems approach to thinking about their markets, their world, their employees, their clients, their customers. Inevitably, velocity is a key part to that. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we need to move quickly to embrace high innovation, not just okay innovation, not just same as our competition, but what is the leapfrog innovation that will help us establish and shape the future? Do you want to shape the future? Or do you just want to understand it? And inevitably, that's also going to come from deep collaboration. And in terms of, let me finalize this and just say, in terms of new future business models, you may end up with a very different kind of world. These are some examples of new models that, quite frankly, are being invented now, and some that have not been invented.